Now to the road ahead for Jayme Closs after the 13-year-old Wisconsin girl's dramatic escape from her alleged abductor.
And we're joined now by somebody who has a perspective few can give to a story like this, Elizabeth Smart. Of course, she founded the Elizabeth Smart Foundation to provide resources to people who've had experiences similar to hers. She, of course, was abducted and found. Elizabeth, good morning. It's so good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I can't think of anybody who would be better to talk to and to better help us understand what this young woman is going through and what she needs from her family and all of us than you. So thank you for getting up early and doing this. And, you know, just first, what went through your mind when you heard Jayme was found alive and she saved herself?
I was so happy, and it just, for me, it felt like it was a reconfirmation of my belief that it's so important that we always keep our eyes and our ears open, because there are people, there are still children who are alive, who are missing. And this just seemed to be another confirmation of that. And I'm just so happy to hear that she is alive and she's well and she's back with her family.
Elizabeth, again, you are one of the few people who would understand exactly what Jayme's going through, and you may even know what Jayme needs in these early days. So what do you think, you know, her family and friends should be giving her during these initial few days?
Honestly, right now, it's almost what I'd call a sacred time, because so much has happened over the last few months, and she's been through so much that kind of rebuilding that foundation is going to be of prime importance. Rebuilding those relationships with her family, reconnecting with her support group, because support is everything, and especially in the coming weeks and months.
It must be so shocking, Elizabeth, to suddenly have everyone in the whole world know your name and everybody wonder about what happened to you. How do you even get through that? How do you begin to take even just the first step to kind of return to normal life?
I think you just said it, normal life. You don't go back to the old normal. There's only a new normal, and coming to terms with that and accepting that, that's probably, well, at least for me, it was one of the biggest and hardest steps was accepting that there was a new normal, and then coming to embrace it and hopefully making your new normal better than the old normal.
Yeah. You know, I'm looking at you and we're looking at you and we see this healthy and happy, seemingly, you know, girl. You've got a family. And when I look at Jayme, you hope that she can wind up at the end of this road. Take us through some of the healing process and how long it took for you to get where you are today.
I so wish that there was a formula that could work for every survivor, that could work for every victim, because I spend a lot of time with victims and with survivors, and the one thing that I've learned is that there is no one size fits all. There's not a magic formula. Each one of us has to figure out what works for each one of us. So for me, where it was, you know, the support from my family, it was music, it was horseback riding. I mean, I feel like I had lots of sort of non-traditional therapies that work for me. That might not be the case for her. I mean, you just have to find what works for you. But I think the important thing is to know that that's what you want, to know that you want to be better, to know that you want to be happy and to be moving towards that. And if something doesn't work, having the courage to say that doesn't work for me and trying something else.
Well, Elizabeth, you are in a position, I don't know if you will speak to her, but if you could speak to her, what word of encouragement would you want to give her about what the rest of her life can and will be?
First of all, I just want to tell her that I think she's a hero. I think she's incredible, amazing, so strong. I mean, wow, what a girl. And I'd want her to know that no matter what happens down the road, if anyone ever makes her feel guilty in any way, right now you think, wow, no one could ever do that. But as someone who has survived kidnapping, as someone who has spoken to countless survivors, I know that a lot of times, a lot of survivors do deal with feelings of guilt, and a lot of times it does come from questions from others. So I would want her first and foremost to know that she did nothing wrong. She did absolutely everything right. She survived. That's amazing. And then I'd want her to know that as big as this feels right now, that it doesn't have to define her life. Yes, certainly it has changed her life. Certainly it will continue to affect her life, but it doesn't have to define her life. She can choose who she wants to be, and she can choose where life takes her, because ultimately it's our choices that make us who we are.
Elizabeth, you are a shining example of that. You're so generous to open up your heart and spend this time and share your perspective and your wisdom that you have earned. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you.